NWBO may actually be prepping for a macro breakout. Let's go ahead and find out exactly what I mean in this video. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with an NWBO Northwest Biotherapeutics raw price action and technicals threat of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video with a friend so that maybe you and a friend could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the charts. So we are looking at NWBO and the 5-day chart here, and we are noticing that we are in a macro trend reversal formation, and this formation is called a descending channel. So descending channels usually tend to realize upon 3 tests followed by a capitulation and then a true breakout attempt on test number 4, of which we could be in preparation for right now as we speak, you guys. So our current position within this channel is very good, and the reason why I say that is because we are well within the golden pocket, and the golden zone or the golden pocket is usually located in between the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio and the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio. So we are currently well within this pocket right now. We're facing some resistance from the 0.618, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal considering the fact that now the moving averages that are now below us are, most importantly, on the 5-day chart, the 200-day simple moving average. We have the 10-day simple moving average making an attempt to cross the 50-day moving average, which is looking very good. And now you can see that the SMA 100, which is the 100-day simple moving average, is now looking like it may face some type of bullish cross from all of these relevant moving averages below it. So this is looking very good. Now, another thing that I don't usually like to mention, but it's pertinent to this type of situation, but we are in the 5-day chart printing a bull flag right over here. So you can see that this candle has not reversed or returned anything from which it has gained thus far. So this is very strong for NWBO. Okay, so one more thing here, just so that we can be clear as to what's happening. The resistance touch that we actually had was used by the 100-day moving average, and this actually was essentially a signal for a continuation to the downside before a recovery. So in this case, I almost feel like we may have another moving average sitting right down here. So let's go ahead and load up our exponential moving averages to just make sure that we do have a relevant support down here. So yes, in fact, we do. So we use the 7-day exponential moving average as a form of support. So now it is continuing on to the upside. Let's go ahead and find out exactly how far we can go, though, because look at this right over here in the technicals that are actually algorithmic to TradingView software in particular. We are getting a buy signal in the odometer here. So let's go ahead and just check out these technicals and see exactly what we have. So we have a strong buy signal based on the moving averages, which is just literally what we just went over right now. The overall summary is giving us a buy signal, which is what we saw in the technicals down in the bottom right when we first looked at this menu. And based on the oscillators, we just have a neutral signal. But based on the moving average and summary, we are looking good, particular to the daily chart. So 4-hour chart still looking very good for a strong buy on both summary and moving average. All oscillators are still pitched down. Bi-hourly, yeah, so everything is looking pretty bullish. Even the weekly, let's see, the monthly is at a neutral area. So yeah, everything is looking good for NWBO in the near term. So let's go ahead and move on now to the next chart and see what we have. So I want to give you guys a perspective here. Okay, so now let me just zoom out real fast and show you. Okay, so this is the entire descending channel that we're in. Okay, so this descending channel, now I'm going to show you what this formation is looking like in a shorter time frame. Let's go to the buy daily. Okay, remember this bottom section here, and remember this thing here. Okay, so now in the buy daily, that's that lower portion, and here's that down dip that we were talking about right over here. Okay, so now in the buy daily, we are looking at another descending channel that we are currently riding. Currently we are facing test number 3 of the golden rule of 3 based on breakout or per the playbook rules, right? So usually that third touch is not the breakout confirmation. We usually get a sell-off followed by an actual attempt at breakout on test number 4, which is confluent to what's happening within the macro descending channel, similarly to this area here. Now, I want to be able to have us take a look at this particular section in a closer time frame. So let's jump into the 4 hour. So now in the 4 hour, so which is particular to, again, this area here, we are looking at an ascending channel here, but as you can see, these candles are just continuously giving and not returning anything from which they have now gained. Okay, so I wanted to be able to pull up the more of an immediate short-term time frame so that we can see how the asset is moving in a geometrical sense. So we have a pattern here. This is called a cup and handle. I usually, I like calling them only when they're backed by data or when it's at an inappropriate place per price action, right? So in this case, this formation is only psychologically backed. It doesn't have any mathematical properties to it. What I mean by geometrical is actually more in the Fibonacci sequences. So in this particular formation, we do have a lot of excitement, and it shows within this formation. Okay, so in order for us to gain a price objective for this formation, which can be acquired by taking a trend line from the top of the cup to the very bottom lowest point of the cup and applying it to the top of the handle, we can actually see that this formation was realized precisely to the target that it was suggesting per these candles right here. Another important thing to notice is that the price action led up to, per this candle right here, it led up just shy of the 2-spot 618 golden mean. So I do talk about the 618 very often in this channel. The 618 mean is actually an important Fibonacci ratio because this is usually where the sentiment likes to take the trade to, or price action to, right? So now one more thing to notice within this chart is the fact that the run up that we got was not random at all. It did land just shy of the 4-spot 618. Usually when I call out prices or when I call out targets, I usually tell my members to watch out. Our take profit is usually under the actual target. So this is very much traded based on geometrical figures here. So this is looking pretty good for NWBO thus far. So now let's move on to the next chart, which is going to be a bias for direction in the immediate short-term to medium-term time frames. But first, let's look at the divergence chart here. So this is the RSI versus price action. So divergence usually indicates the opposition of price action versus the RSI signal. So now, just so that we can be clear, this is the moving average representing a 14-day period for the RSI indicator, which is a typical setup for an RSI. And this is a 14-day moving average, whether you're on a 12-hour, a daily, a 5-day, it doesn't matter. It's always a 14-day fixed moving average, okay? The purple line is the RSI signal itself, the strength. Okay, so now what's happening here with these white lines is something very interesting that we've caught and are now just realizing what's happening. Okay, so this is called hidden bullish divergence. So this happens, so this is the bullish side, right? And this is the hidden divergence side. It usually happens when the RSI signal is making a series of lower lows while price action is making a series of lower highs, so, or higher lows, right? So now we're looking at 1, 2, 3 drives of primary hidden bullish divergence. Now, the fact that it's going through all of this price action from this point to this point makes it phantom. Okay, so now this is actually called 3 primary drives of phantom hidden bullish divergence. So this is looking very good for the NWBO asset, specifically since we're in the larger term time frame. This is a 12-hour, so we can definitely apply some credit to these divergences. Okay, so now let's go ahead and load a multi-pane so that we can be able to see just how relevant the upside is per all the indicators. Okay, so now let's make this larger so that we can look at a 30-minute immediate short term. For the new viewers, for the new listeners, this is a diagram that I've made for you so that you can be able to tag along as I talk about the RSI. So these are the 4 zones that you're looking at right over here. Okay, so definitely pay attention to these, gander at those while I talk. So this is the immediate short term 30-minute. It is suggesting a continuation onto the upside, and you can see that we've been using the moving average as a form of support all the way to the top. Where we're currently sitting is definitely well within the grips of the bullish control zone, or the bull control zone, right? Bull strength percentile, to be very precise. We're in this area right here, so which is this upper half. Okay, so now the moving average is still suggesting a continuation onto the upside. The bi-hourly RSI is suggesting a continuation to the upside as well. Moving average is suggesting the same. Now notice how the pivot is actually starting to weaken just a little bit. That usually tends to happen when we're in the shallow areas of either zone. So when we're in these shallow areas, sometimes the likelihood to come back for a corrective move is likely. But you can see here that we're using the moving average as a form of support before continuing on to the upside. So it's still looking good for NWBO. Now, the 6-hour chart is suggesting more of a neutral direction. It is sitting well within the grips of the bull weakness percentile, which means that we're likely to go up into the bull strength percentile, but we still have to be able to verify those movements. Okay, so now the daily RSI is the one that's actually catching my attention. Since we already saw the 12-hour, we're just going to see the daily. The daily RSI is suggesting a continuation to the upside, and it's aggressive. So it is also approaching the very deep areas of the bull weakness percentile, which usually means that it's likely to jump into bull strength percentile. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty good for the asset. Know that I'm not a financial advisor. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as a form of entertainment. Okay, do your own DD and we'll be okay, you guys. But I actually am not trading this particular ticker. This was actually something that was requested to me, you know, to look at. So I am not gonna suggest any entries on this or any exits. Okay, as I'm a little bit caught up with the COSM asset right now in the Discord with the members, and HLBZ and Mullen and a few others. Okay, so this is actually a little bit further down that my plate can actually handle. So I will not be suggesting any entries in this, but thus far it is looking very good for NWBO. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me within Twitter or Discord. I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below for you to consider joining the ARCa trading community. But with that said, I wish you well, a good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.